And during this process, make sure your entire physical body is relaxed. Mind is focusing only on the breath, not wandering or wavering around. And when you focus the mind only on the breath, automatically the mind will quieten. Do this a few times and you will experience that your mind is quietened immediately. Through this process of systematic pranayama, one should quieten the mind. And once the mind is quietened, and after study of Vedanta Shastras, Upanishad mantras advise us to do Nididhyasanam, Upasana on the Brahma Tattvam. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. Tat Jalaniti Shanta Upasita. So Shanta Upasita, quietened mind is the first stage. It is not the final. It is the first stage. And then with a quietened mind, Upasita, do Upasana on Brahman. As what? After studying Vedanta Shastras, one understands that there is only one absolute reality. There is only one absolute reality, Brahma Tattvam. So, Sarvam Khaluvidam Brahma. Everything around us is really Brahman. Means what? The only reality is Brahman. What about the multitude things that we are seeing around? They are all only relatively real. So, Upanishad mantra is complete in itself. It says, from this absolutely real principle, Brahma Tattvam, emerges the relatively real, seemingly real universe, which is what is cognizable by the sense organs. So, from the absolutely real Brahman arises the seemingly real universe, including our physical body, sense organs, mind, intellect, everything, thoughts, emotions. And a person without the knowledge of the absolute reality, or even after understanding, not identifying with this absolute reality as one's own true nature, gets connected with everything around. So, this is what is the seed of ignorance, fundamental ignorance. And because of this ignorance, humans continue to suffer life after life. So, the Upanishad mantra says, at least during dhyanam, make sure this nididhyasanam, after studying Vedanta Shastras, try and recollect the Upanishad mantra saying that the only reality is Brahman. And so to identify yourself with that supreme principle, since Brahman is vast, Brihattamatvad Brahma, all pervading. Same Upanishad mantras point out that Brahman, which is the nature of absolute existence, absolute consciousness, absolute bliss, is also your own true nature as Atman. How do we identify? One aspect, the pure consciousness principle that is present within us is responsible for all our cognitions. Upanishad mantra says, Pratibodha viditam matam amrutatvam hi vindate atmana vindate viryam vidyaya vindate amrutam. This cognition that happens through all the sense organs and also all the faculties of action that work, it's possible only because of the presence of consciousness principle within us. Once the consciousness principle escapes or is removed from this physical body, there is no difference between a log of wood and this physical body. You are not able to even appreciate this. That which is unseen, that which cannot be felt by the different sense organs, cognized by sense organs, ashabdam, asparsham, arupam, abhyayam, that principle is there within us, which is enabling all the cognitions, bodham, bodham, pratibodham. So, that supreme principle, Brahman, is same as Atman, your own true nature, responsible for all the cognitions. Bodham, bodham means continuous cognition that happens. Pratibodha, viditam matam. So understand this, that this is the same absolute reality, that is Brahman, which is your true nature as pure consciousness. That is the established truth of the Upanishads. And what does this knowledge bestow upon us? Amritatvam hi vindate. See, it is not something new to discover, to go and find out. It is already present. Swatasiddham. Unfortunately, your mind is so outward going. Paranchi khani vetarnat swayambhuhu tasmat parang pashyati na antaratman kaschid dhiraha pratyagatmanamaikshat avrita chakshuhu amritatvam icchan. Amritatvam hi vindate. So one is desirous of liberation, desirous of permanent happiness, absolute bliss, will focus and understand this Atman, pure consciousness, as the absolute reality, as my true nature. Means what? All other things that are happening around me, including my thoughts, emotions, are only seemingly real. I will not attach any importance to that. I will be a witness of those thoughts and emotions and not get affected by them. And that nididhyasanam through Upanishad mantras constantly enables you to identify with the supreme reality. So that requires tremendous effort, systematic study of Vedanta Shastras. So Amritatvam hi vindate, bestows immortality. And Atmana vindate viryam. So this Atma Jnanam gives you special fortitude, special power to withstand any problems that you may face seemingly in life. Viryam, special power, special energy. Bhakti, it's called. Vidyaya vindate amrutam. Once again reiterates that this knowledge, which means what? Just not bookish knowledge. Internalization and transformation of the individual identified with absolute Brahman as Atman, Aham Brahmasmi, bestows immortality. So, knowledge of absolute reality bestows immortality and supreme happiness, absolute bliss. How to proceed systematically to understand that Atman and Brahman are one and the same. In a way, it is a merger of the individual with supreme. Let's understand from the final shloka of the 11th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha. Nirvighnam Kuru Medeva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha. Guru Sakshat Parambrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. निधये सर्वविद्यानां षजे भवरोगिणां गुरवे सर्वलोकानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतं वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवत्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः अपारकरुणा सिन्धुं ज्ञानदं शान्तरूपिणं श्रीचन्द्रशेखरगुरुं प्रणमामि मुदान्महम् ॐ straight chant Yam Brahma loudly. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Tunvanti Nimyaistavaihi Vedai Sanga Padakramopanishadair Gayanti Yam Samaga Dhyanavasthita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasyantam na Vidussura Suraganaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha देवाय तस्मै नमः ओम श्री कृष्णाय परमात्मने नमः Now let's chant the six slokas. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Shri Saraswatyai Namaha Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Teshamevanukampartham Ahamajnanajam Tamaha नाशयाम्यात्मभावस्थः ज्ञानदीपेन भास्वता ज्योतिषामपि तज्ज्योतिः तमसः परमुच्यते ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं ज्ञानगम्यं हृदि सर्वस्य विष्ठितं न हि ज्ञानेन सदृशं पवित्रमिह विद्यते तत्स्वयं योगसंसिद्धः कालेनात्मनि विन्दति ज्ञानेन तु तदज्ञानं येषां नाशितमात्मनः तेषामादित्यवज्ञानं प्रकाशयति तत्परं यथैधांसि समिद्धोऽग्निः भस्मसात् कुरुतेऽर्जुन ज्ञानाग्निः सर्वकर्माणि भस्मसात् कुरुते तथा यस्य सर्वे समारम्भाः कामसङ्कल्पवर्जिताः ज्ञानाग्निदग्धकर्माणं तमाहुः पण्डितं बुधाः ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः. Now chant this 5 shlokas which will help you manage the relatively real universe. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Devi Hesha Gunamayi mama maya duratyaya मामेव ये प्रपद्यन्ते मायामेतां तरन्ति ते अनन्याश्चिन्तयन्तो मां ये जनाः पर्युपासते तेषां नित्याभियुक्तानां योगक्षेमं महाम्यहम् मत्तः परतरं नान्यत् किञ्चिदस्ति धनञ्जय मयि सर्वमिदं प्रोतं सूत्रे मणिगणा इव ईश्वरः सर्वभूतानां हृद्देशेऽर्जुन तिष्ठति भ्रामयन् सर्वभूतानि यन्त्रारूढानि मायया. Always try and remember, quite difficult, but one has to get to that stage, to the absolute truth. Prapancho yadi vidyeta nivarteta na samshayaha maya matramidam dvaitam advaitam paramarthataha. Om shanti shanti shanti. अथ श्रीमद्भगवद्गीता एकादशोऽध्यायः विश्वरूपदर्शनयोगः. ॐ नारायणः परो व्यक्तात् अण्डमं व्यक्तसम्भवम् अण्डस्यान्तस्त्विमे लोकाः सप्तद्वीपा च मेदिनी. ॐ. Let's stand the final shloka, shloka number 55 of the 11th chapter, 11.55. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Matkarma Krinmat Paramaha Madbhakta Sangavarjitaha Nirvairas Sarva Bhuteshu Yassamameti Pandava. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hardam Swagatam, hearty welcome to the concluding session of the 11th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. We have done a detailed analysis, extensive study of 11th chapter. It is a very important chapter connecting the Upanishad mantras of absolute reality Brahman with a visual representation that Bhagavan gave to Arjuna, which you are only studying. Now, the absolute reality or Brahman, knowledge of which bestows supreme peace, immortality, is not something that one can hope to experience one day. So all this misconception, ignorance that I'll keep on doing tapas, I'll keep on doing japam, millions of japam, I'll do yogasana, that is one day I will experience supreme bliss. Huh? That is what? Is the right understanding? Absolutely wrong. Please understand, it is not something that will be achieved one day. Why? Because it is not something to be attained. You are already that. That is the beauty in this. So anything else has to be created or purified or attained. This is already present. Swatah siddham, your own true nature. And so what is the methodology? The only way is what? Understanding, knowledge. That's why when you keep on chanting Purushasuktam, Tamevam Vidvan Amritaha Iha Bhavati. Tam Evam Vidvan. One has to understand knowledge. And this knowledge, initially it is information, which will result in transformation. And what is the transformation? Transformation is no longer I am this what? Miserable human being, Jivatma, connected to the physical body, sense organs, mind, constantly subjected to ups and downs. Yes or no? Whenever you identify yourself with either your physical body, your sense organs, or your relationships, or thoughts, emotions, what happens to the mind? One day it is extremely happy. Aha. Something happens nicely, you get some what? Good food, chocolate, what? Again, looks very, very happy. Another day, it becomes very disappointed. And so one has to study the Vedanta Shastra, understand that all these vagaries and variations are only seemingly real, they have no reality. So, prapancho yadi vidyeta nivarteta na samshayaha. It's a very wonderful sloka we chant. If the world was absolutely real, it cannot be eliminated. Please understand. Prapanchaha yadi vidyeta. If the world, that means what? Universe, including physical body, thoughts, emotions, were actually real. What is absolute reality? Trikalesh Satyam. It's always present in the past, present, and future. It can never be negated. It can never be dissolved. Prapancho yadi vidyeta na nivarteta iti samshayaha. So, as I keep saying, what has to be negated? That which is absolutely present cannot be negated. That which is absolutely not present also need not be negated. So, what has to be negated? Now, this becomes Jnana Margam. That's why nobody enters Jnana Margam. Once you enter Jnana Margam, you have to think that which is apparently real, apparently present, and by what is the means to remove this apparently real universe? Knowledge. Jnana devatu kaivalyam. That's why we're going to discuss about Acharya Shankara's message tomorrow morning. Acharya Shankara did so many wonderful things, including so-called lot of magic he did. Capturing entire Narmada river in a small kamandalam, diverting the river Purna, all that he has done. He could have spent his entire life doing magic, right? Yes or no? A magician, what does a magician do? Entire life they do only magic shows, correct? Do they do anything else? No. Whereas Acharya Shankara never ever gave importance to magic or something will happen, that something will happen at some particular point in time. Entire life was dedicated to jnanam, knowledge. So this knowledge alone can release you from the cycle of samsara. This knowledge is represented in many ways, in different ways, but the message is the same, the truth is the same. Truth is aham brahmasmi. I am not different from the supreme truth. In a way, it is understanding my true nature as pure consciousness, understanding Supreme's true nature, Swarupa Lakshana as pure consciousness. When there are two entities of the same nature, what does it mean? Does one need to move to merge with other? No, both are already one the same. So in a way, it's called merger, but in effect, it is knowledge, understanding my true nature as pure consciousness. So what is the process? Bhagavan has already explained in Sloka 55, which was in the last class, that one has to attain this absolute knowledge. Immediately, it's not possible. One day you cannot sit down and say, Aham Brahmasmi. Is it possible? Impossible. So start with karma yoga. What? First, sakama karma yoga. First, you do all the actions as offering to Bhagavan. Expect some result because initially you cannot give a result, correct? Then from there move to Nishkama Karma Yoga. Do your duty, do all the actions without expectancy of material benefit. Only goal or only expectancy, spiritual benefit, Chitta Shuddhi. From there, when the mind is now relatively calm, do Upasana, first level on a form, Ekarupa Upasana. Then Vishwarupa Upasana. That's what is studied now. Entire Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga. You can clearly see that Bhagavan is the substratum of the entire universe. And when the mind has attained that quietude, sit down, study Vedanta Shastra for a significant period of time. See, this knowledge and transformation won't happen overnight. That is why we keep on coming again and again. Yes or no? We discharge during the weekdays and recharge during the weekends. Does the charge remain? During the week, lot of things happen. Slowly, all this Atma Gnana, spiritual knowledge, the spiritual strength, all goes away. So, come back again and charge, again and again. So, Anvaya I'll do. Padavibhaga Anvaya is done in the last class. Anyway, for completeness, I'll do Anvaya again, meaning, and we'll complete this chapter. Saha Yaha Mat Karma Kriti, number 1. Mat Bhaktaha, number 2. Mat Paramaha, number 3. Sangha Varjitaha, number 4. Nirvairaha Sarva Bhuteshu, number 5. Eti Mam He Pandava. So here Bhagavan has mentioned 5 different steps, out of which what? The first 4, or actually the first 3 here is connected with the sadhana. It means what? What all the effort that you have to put. So who is the person who attains this final knowledge or merger with Supreme? Saha. Saha here is Pullinga. He can also take as she, everybody. That person. Yaha, whosoever, no exception, does the following things systematically moving towards Jnanam. First, Mat Karma Kriti. Mat Karma Kriti means who does work as an offering to me. So, means what? All actions. Means what? Working for Bhagavan doesn't mean being in the temple always. Some people have a wrong opinion. I should be in temple always. Either be chanting or doing some what? Seva. Temple seva. Huh? That's not the intent. Means what? The mind has to be tuned that whatever work I may be doing is an offering to Bhagavan. And so initially, though I may be expecting some materialistic results, over a period of time, you'll understand that whatever actions happen, those will give the reaction. Whatever result comes, let it come, because result will come. Please understand. When you do an action, result will come. Can you say that you'll do an action, no result will come? Results will come. What you should do? Ishwararpana buddhya karma kuru. So, and then what? Prasada buddhya, what? Phalam svikuru. So, accept the results as Bhagavan's prasadam. No complaints. So, that is the first stage. Actually, we break it up into 2 steps. What are the 2? Sakama karma yoga and nishkama karma yoga. Mad bhaktaha represents upasana yoga. Write down. Mat karma krit represents karma yoga in 2 steps. Sakama karma yoga, nishkama karma yoga. Mad bhaktaha represents upasana. Become my devotee. So who is my devotee? Whosoever is a devotee. Bhaktaha means, that's why the word bhaktaha underline. Mad bhaktaha. So what is bhaktaha? Who is a bhakta? What is bhakti? Is what will be elaborated in the 12th chapter which you already studied. Is not just doing some bhajana, dancing and all those things. Okay. Please understand, bhakti involves these 5 steps which I explained just now. Here, special emphasis on upasana yoga. That means what? First, ekarupa upasana. As I told you, initially very difficult to do upasana on Vishwarupa upasana, which is studied in the 11th chapter. So, take a Ishta Devata and according to the what? Upasana mantra, upasana shloka is attached to every devata that you will choose for upasana. So, some other day I'll explain detail. Then you do study the upasana mantra, upasana shloka. The upasana can be based on Vedic mantras or shlokas. You have to understand the meaning of this shloka or mantra. Close the mind, close your eyes, and then the mind should be only focused on the form that this shloka or the mantra is explaining. So that is Ekarupa Upasana. Then when you mature further, Vishwarupa Upasana, the entire universe, you will understand as Bhagavan. So when you close your eyes, you understand that Bhagavan permeates, or the Supreme permeates the entire universe, substratum of the entire universe. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. And from there, systematic study of Vedanta Shastras. That is represented by Mat Paramaha. Mat Paramaha means whosoever keeps supreme as the absolute goal, whosoever keeps the knowledge of the absolute reality as supreme goal. So after going through all these spaces, one becomes a Tivra Mumukshu. Write down Jignasu. Tivra Mumukshu. And so enters Jnana Yoga. So Mat Paramaha represents Jnana Yoga. Study of Vedanta Shastra systematically. So what is the point in keeping Bhagavan as a goal? Bhagavan, Bhagavan, when will I come and meet you? When will I come and merge with you? You keep on saying every day, is it? Huh? What should you do to merge with Bhagavan? Hmm? You have to know Bhagavan. You have to know yourself. Then only you can merge with Bhagavan. So, Mat Paramaha. Just keeping Bhagavan as the goal is not enough. To work towards the goal, which is Vedanta Vijnanam. Studying Vedanta Shastra systematically. That is what is called as Mat Paramaha, Jnana Yoga. So, these 5 steps, when you follow, as a process, when you are going through the spiritual transformation, many of these things will happen automatically. What are they? Sangha Varjitaha. Become free from attachment. That means what? Today we are attached to so many things. Yes or no? How do I know I'm attached to something or not? How do you recognize your attachment to something? Is there a way? When that is not present, when it is not there, when that entity is not present, what happens to your thoughts and emotions? That will show are you attached to it or not. It could be a person, it could be some entity, something. So, as you go through this process of Vedanta Shastra, Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, you understand everything in the world has got only functional value. They have no emotional value which is required for my functions. You use it. Beyond that, there is no attachment to anything or anybody for that matter, even people. Bit tough, but that is the reality. Sangha Varjitaha. Sangha means attachment. Sangha Varjitaha means not getting attached to anything, including your physical body. Something happens to physical body, once again, no, everything will detach, but not the physical body. Something happens, oh, no. The physical body should be treated as something different from you. Something happens to it, you give some treatment. That's okay. Just like you will provide treatment to somebody else. But don't get emotionally attached. So, Sangha Varjitaha. And importantly, Nirvairaha Sarvabhuteshu. Sarvabhuteshu. Towards all entities, Nirvairaha, absolutely no hatred. Means what? Heart of hearts, there is no hatred at all to anybody. Important aspect, because many people develop a deep hatred, anger, convert into deep hatred. Who is the significant representation of this hatred? Duryodhana in Mahabharata. Deep hatred, right? So nothing he achieved in life. So hatred will totally go away. Bhagavan says, whoever is free from hatred towards all beings. So with this, these two are what? Incidental things that happen automatically. Once you are focused on absolute reality, everything else becomes incidental. When your focus is Vedanta Vijnanam, somebody does something, somebody works in a different way. Yes or no? Earlier, what we used to do, we used to think, why is this person behaving like this? Why his attitude has changed? What has happened to this person, right? When you focus on only Vedanta Jnanam, those are all becomes incidental. Also, you understand what? Maya matram idam dvaitam. Everything in the relative world is only Maya. Seemingly it will happen. It will do its own thing. But you start attaching importance, you will get stuck in the whirlpool. So, here, in a way, treating everything else as only relatively real, not getting attached or not getting to hating anybody. Etimham. All these things, the transformation of the individual as what? Aham Brahmasmi. So, Prajnanam Brahma. So, my reality, pure consciousness is Brahman. I am Brahman. So eti mam reaches me. Reaching Bhagavan means what? As I keep saying, understanding I am Brahman. And you are also Brahman, supreme, the pure consciousness. Even the absolute no supreme is also pure consciousness. There is no need to move from one place to another. The merger is already established through what? Merger established through dash. I want you to fill in the blanks. Jnanam. Very good. The merger is established through jnanam. Jnana devata kaivalyam. There is no other way. Quickly, Shankara Bhashyam for the last 2, 3 slokas we have not done. So, sloka number 53. So, 53, Shankara Bhashyam is finished, no? Yes, it is done. Now, 54 and 55 will read Shankara Bhashyam. Bhaktya iti, bhaktya tu, kim vishishtaya iti, aha, ananyaya, apratak bhutaya. So, here the bhaktya doesn't mean what? Sitting and doing bhajana. It is what? Understanding that you are not different from Bhagavan. Bhagavataha anyatra prithak na kadachidapi. Means what? Never ever was I different from Bhagavan, nor am I different from Bhagavan. Essentially, my true nature. That is understand. Nor will I be different from Bhagavan in the future. Ya bhavati. Sato ananya bhakti. That's why ananya bhakti very important. Ananya chintayanto mam. Not enough to chant. Know the meaning. Sarvaihi api karanaihi vasudevat anyat na upalabhyate yaya. So another way is, if it is difficult for you to focus on the oneness of yourself with Bhagavan, another way is any functioning of my physical body, whether it be karmendriya, jnanendriya, is not possible without Bhagavan. How? Bhagavan is the matter principle as fundamental matter. Bhagavan is also the conscious principle as the enabling entity for all actions and functions. So, that means what? Anything that is present within me, both the physical body and the consciousness, is not different from Bhagavan. Are you getting the point? Two ways. The Madhyama Bhakta can treat both the physical body and the consciousness as Sakshat, what? Ishvara Tattvam. The Uttama Adhikari through Jnanam can understand that what? Both the physical body, mind, and all these things are all what? Relatively Maya Tattvam. I remain as pure consciousness, Aham Brahmasmi. So, Vasudevat Anyat na upalabhyati. Ya Ananyaya Bhakti. So, it means either way you can think. So, Acharya is giving you the option. Taya Ananyaya Bhaktya Shakyaha Aham Evam Vidaha. So, Vishwarupa Prakaraha. So, Acharya gives wonderful explanation. So, when you see everything around you, what happens? They are either matter or an aspect of consciousness. Both are, no, both cannot be available or present without Ishvara. So, everything is Ishvara. Sarvam Kalavidam Brahma. Evam Vidaha. That is a Vishwarupa Darshanam. Our understanding? Vishwarupa Darshanam, what Arjuna saw was physically Bhagavan, physical body, all the entities on that. With this understanding that what is Ishvara is equal to, go back to 7th chapter, 9th chapter. 7th and 9th comes before 11 or after 11? Ishvara is equal to what? Apara Prakriti plus Para Prakriti, Maya plus Brahman, matter plus consciousness. Anything around you see is either matter or conscious, actually combination of both. So it is not different from Bhagavan. So that is another way to see Vishwarupa Darshanam. So this is Vishwarupa Darshanam through Jnanam. So that's why Acharya says, Jnatum Shastrataha. See, very nice. So through study of Shastras, understand this. Na kevalam jnatum shastrataha drashtum cha sakshat kartum tattvena tatpataha praveshtum cha moksham. Praveshtum is moksham chagantum he parantapa. Now the last sloka, nice Acharya Bhashya. Look at it. So what are the steps? Mat karma iti. Mat karma kriti. Madartham karma, mat karma. So do it as a duty, do it as an offering to Bhagavan. Tat karoti iti mat karma kriti mat paramaha. Karoti bhrityaha swami karma. So what all action doing is for sake of Bhagavan. No selfish orientation. Natu atmanaha. Not selfish. Parama pretya gantavya gatirata gatiriti swaminam pratipadyate. So one of the ways is Bhagavan is the master, I am servant, have that attitude. Ayantu matkarma krit mameva paramam gatim pratipadyate iti mat paramaha. So have Bhagavan as the ultimate goal, only goal. Aham paramaha paragatihi yasya saha ayam mat paramaha tatha mat bhaktaha mameva sarva prakaraihi sarvatmana sarvat sahena cha bhajate iti madbhaktaha. So see Bhagavan everywhere. So everything becomes worshipful attitude. Sangha varjitaha. See, Acharya is now underlining dhana, putra, mitra, kalatra, bandhu vargeshu. Sangha varjitaha. It's all quite difficult. Dhanam. See, dhanam, money, putra, mitra, children, progeny, friends, kalatra, wife, husband, bandhu, all relationship. Bandhu vargeshu sangavarditaha. Non-attachment doesn't mean hating. Ha, I'm not attached to you. Not like that. You do all your duties sincerely, correctly, lovingly, but mentally don't get affected by what? Do everybody behave the same way? Even relations, your own thoughts, your own people, friends, do they all behave rightly always? Huh? How many changes happens to their attitude, behavior, thoughts? So what you should do in those instances where there is variation, just like in what? In our communications theory, signal to noise ratio, right? Signal and noise come together, right? What you do? Eliminate the noise, focus on signal. Similarly, there will be noise. Actually, around us, noise is more or signal is more in all the relationships, you tell me. Huh? So, Jnanam is required. See, Ishwar is saying noise is more, very clear. So, this noise variation is so high, it actually submerges totally what? Encapsulates the real signal. So that is why Jnanam is important. Learn to ignore. Is it easy or difficult? Very difficult, right? The most difficult thing is to ignore or give up attachment. Very correct, very difficult. How to get that state? Constantly studying Vedanta Shastras, reiterating. Everything is only Maya Matram Idam Dvaitam Advaitam Paramarthataha. Jnanamargam. Pray to Acharya Shankara to get Jnanam. So, Putra, Mitra, Kalatra, Bandhu Vargeshu, Sangha Varjitaha. Now look at the beauty. So, when things are going bad, I don't want this person. After some time, you want that person. See how it is? You can neither be totally detached nor totally attached. Yes or no? Why don't you leave everything and go? Everybody is bad. Everything is to be, rejected. Leave, take sannyasam and go. No, go to Himalayas. How many of you have gone? How many people have gone? Nobody has gone. It's called bandhakatva dosham. Only way is understand clearly knowledge. As matter principle is a combination of rajas, tamas, and sattvam, there will be variation. Unfortunately, we're expecting constancy. Are getting the point where the problem is? The problem is in our ignorance, expecting constancy. Everything should happen correctly, sir. From morning to evening, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, till I die, everything should be as per my expectancy, constant, same way. Is it possible? Huh? It's impossible. So, what is the thing that you can do? Understand that vagaries, variations, ups and downs are part of life. So, have the mantra from what to so what to what next. Make sure that you don't get ensnarled by the variation. Sangha varjitaha, sangam pritihi, snehaha, tad varjitaha, nirvairaha, nirgata vairaha, sarva bhuteshu, shatru bhava rahitaha. That's why when we light the lamp, what we say, not only from darkness we move to light, from hatred we move to all encompassing love. Shubham karoti kalyanam arogyam Dhana sampada shatru buddhi vinashaya deepa jyotir namostute. Shatru buddhi vinaya is very important. We don't realize that. So even elementary shloka talks about it. So shatru bhava rahitaha atmanaha atyanta atyantapakara pravritteshu api. So that means what? Even though somebody is extremely wrong to you, one should not develop hatred. That's the Shastras, standing of Shastras. Yaha idrishaha madbhaktaha sahamam eti. The person attain merger with me. Ahameva tasya paragatihi na anyagatihi kachitu bhavati. Ayam tav upadeshaha ishtaha maya upadishtaha. He Pandava. So this is my ultimate message. Acharya Shankara gives a message. So let's complete the Purti Shloka. Om Tat Sat Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Vishwarupa Darshana Yogo Nama Ekadashodhyayaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Quickly, 2 minutes, look at the e-book. Last 2 pages, very well done. 13 and 14. So, how should students of Vedanta treat Vishwarupa Darshana? So, understand first that Bhagavan is the substratum for Srishti, Sthiti, Layam. And this Bhagavan can be understood only by systematic study of Vedanta Shastras, not by karma upasana. It's been told. Na vedaihi, na yajnaihi, na danaihi, na tapobhi, all those things. Then Jnana Chakshu is not something you get. The physical Jnana Chakshu is the understanding, knowledge. So what you should do? Attain Jnanam and Bhagavan. Very nicely represented. First, perform all the actions. So karma is for removing tamogunam. You're all so lazy, right? To get up in the morning and do our karma itself is so difficult. How to get jnanam? So first do all the karma, puja, archana, japa, all those things. Okay? Vratam, anushtanam, all that you do systematically, then slowly attain chitta shuddhi. From there, move towards what? Jnanam. And in the process, you will be free from attachment and always have Bhagavan, the supreme goal. So whenever you get up in the morning, don't think about all the problems. Yes or no? Most of us, what happens? We get up in the morning, automatically that problem, this problem, and so many things keep on attacking us. What you should do? So keep on saying, get up in the morning, chant, Ratasmarami Hridi Samspuradatma. The time that Supreme Brahman, my goal is to attain that knowledge. Everything else is incidental. I am not going to pay importance to that. That is supreme goal as Bhagavan. And so constant study of what? Gita Shastram, Vedanta Shastram. You want to study the Upanishads, attain Brahma Jnanam in this life itself. All the other shlokas you can study on your own. So have all these e-books ready. We'll start the revision of all chapter summary, chapter 1 to 18. After Shankara Jayanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Today we'll have a couple of performances for Shankara Jayanti. Moderation, everything. So who is going to perform today? Coordinator, Zoom. Anybody identified? Because there are many performers. There are many performers.